It's done, or is it? Detroit just flipped the pass rush switch you've been begging for Carl Lawson in Honolulu Blue, a veteran finisher opposite Aiden Hutchinson, the piece that turned stress into sacks and January into something real. But before you scroll away thinking the story's over, hear this. If you're late to this conversation, you might miss the most important front office decision of the fall. Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report. Subscribe right now, hit the like, turn that bell on, because we're going past the headline into the how, the why, and the dominoes that follow when you add a closer to a defense that's already tasted blood. Here's the raw truth. Detroit doesn't have a Hutchinson problem. Detroit has a help him problem. When teams slide the protection to 97, chip him with a tight end on money downs, and dare the other edge to win, you can feel the pocket breathing again for the offense. You can feel 3rd and 7 turn into 4th and manageable, or worse, move the sticks. Drain the crowd, reset the script. The plan was Marcus Davenport closing those windows, flattening pockets while Hutch feasts on panic. And yeah, he'll be back. But the timeline got messy, and waiting for eventually is not how contenders live. You saw it with your own eyes. When the rush is just a step late, coverage has to hold too long, blitzes get telltale, and the whole complimentary machine tilts. Then Detroit went into Baltimore and proved a .7 sacks, a statement on the road, a reminder that this defense can hit like a storm, yet the coaching tape still whispers the same assignment. Layer threats, don't rely on one man to bend games by himself. That's why the Lawson lever isn't rumor mill candy. It's a cap-saying, role-specific fix you can pull now and let it compound by December. Fit before fear. Lawson's not the 60-snap Ironman you signed to set firm edges all afternoon. He's the coiled spring you unleash in the moments that decide reputations. Wide 9 opposite Hutchinson. That's where his first step still steals a tackle's feet, where his low pad level plus a clean counter turns vertical sets into arm flails and late anchors. Put Alan McNeil as the interior hammer, Mary Lawson to TE gains and interior slants, and make protections choose their poison. Slide to Hutch and you hand Lawson a runway. Slide to Lawson and you give Hutch the inside counter he murders with. Leave them both one-on-one and your quarterbacks. Spot on the carpet moves 3 feet earlier than he wants. That single beat is where PBUs turn into tips and tips turn into takeaways. But the injuries, the pitch count, the what-ifs, good. That's why the structure matters. You don't buy hopes, you buy heat. A short, incentive-heavy pack that pays for hurries, hits, and finishes, not name recognition. You ramp him, you own the usage, you keep his early down run fits honest but minimal. And on 3rd and obvious, you tell him to put the blinders on and go. And here's where this isn't just Madden theorycraft. The room. Detroit's culture is allergic to coasters. If you don't hunt every rep, you don't last. Lawson's motor, when he's right, matches the message on every wall inside Allen Park. Do your job violently, do it every time, and let the tape talk. Drop him in that room, and the standard polices itself. Let's map the calendar and why the urgency is real. Davenport's on the shelf now, and you expect him back. But back isn't the same as back to 35 killer snaps by Sunday. Al Quiggan, Muhammad just gave you a monster night, and he earned a heavier diet. Nobody's taking that food off his plate, but a playoff team can't live on spikes alone. It needs a steady drumbeat of pressure that travels. Think about how playoff scripts get written. First quarter, the opponent's early 15 are protection heavy, chips and slides to muddy your rush. Second quarter, they hunt explosives when your rush lanes crack. Fourth quarter, it's gotta be. You're 4 winning without help because blitzing gets you gutted by hot throws. You win those phases by stacking honest threats, not by asking one star to beat geometry. Lawson changes the math of 3rd down calls in Ford Field. And he changes the psychology on Wednesday when opponents build their pass pro periods. Picture it crowd climbing, 3rd and 8, Hutch in a 2-point to the boundary. Lawson wide to the field, McNeil shaded strong. The back scans left a chip boom. You've already forced a concession. If he chips Hutch, Lawson's rush lane's clean. If he chips Lawson, Hutch's inside spin is free, and the guard's eyes are laid on the handoff. Now at a late release, tight end and watch the hook zones tighten. The ball comes out a beat early and your corners squeeze the out. That's tangible. That's steal a possession football. Scheme-wise, Aaron Glenn doesn't need to change the defense's DNA. He just gets to call his simulated pressures with a heavier hand because protections can't cheat toward Hutch without someone else spiking their graph. Think mug the gaps, drop out, still win with 4 instead of bring 5 because we have to. Think quarterback's footwork compresses a half tick instead of deep comeback on time. Think frustration for an OC who just wanted one more second to run the layered shot he circled on Tuesday. And if you're stressing about run fits, relax. You're not asking Lawson to two-gap a 22 personnel toss. You're asking him to set a responsible edge when needed and to hunt when summoned, all on the same pitch count that matches his profile. Now the market. The reunion dream some of you had burned out elsewhere door closed. The shelf is thin, and that's exactly when sharp front offices pounce. The league yawns at role players while contenders steal wins with them. Lawson didn't do a workout carousel, which spooked some people. But for a team with self-awareness, that's leverage. You know what you want 25 playoff intensity snaps, not a training camp hero. Build the deal accordingly, align the incentives with the usage, and let the locker room handle the rest. The beautiful part of adding Lawson now is the compounding effect when Davenport returns. You go from Hutch plus whoever's hot to a money-down trio you can mix by matchup Hutch, Davenport, Lawson with McNeil. Or Hutch inside on a NASCAR look with Lawson and a speed third behind him so the protection. Rules get murky and the quarterback stops trusting his spot. And don't undersell the message it sends to the building. We aren't hoping the calendar heals us. We're solving the game on our terms. If you were in the stands Monday night or glued to the TV, you felt it. This defense can step on throats. But the lesson from big stage heartbreaks around the league is that a pass rush is a bullpen, not a single ace. Starters get you to the 7. Closers get you handshakes. Lawson, properly used, is an 8th-inning bridge with strikeout stuff. Now here's where I plant my flag because I owe you an opinion, not a hedge. I make the move. I sign Lawson to a 1-year incentive-loaded pack today. Integrate him in the terminology and tells over 2 weeks. Give him 15 to 20 snaps in the first. Game plan, ramp to 25 to 30 against protections we can manipulate with motion and condensed splits. And tie his money to production hurries, hits, sacks plus team wins, not a participation trophy. I pair him with interior gains when teams slide to Hutch. Demand strict edge integrity on early downs so he earns those money downs. And keep the rotation breathing when Davenport's back. Worst case, you raise the floor, reduce Hutchinson's, double team rate, and stop asking your DBs to hold for a beat too long. Best case, you unchain the version of this front that wins you a divisional round because the pocket never settles and every third down call for the other sideline feels like punishment. If you're with me, keep it here, subscribe, and like, because moves like this separate fun September from real January. And now it's your turn. Detroit, do you pull the trigger on Lawson as the closer across from Hutch, or do you ride the in-house wave and bet that Davenport's return plus Muhammad's rise is enough? Tell me who you want on the field on 3rd and 8 with the crowd vibrating and the season on the line. And tell me how you'd structure the deal pure. Incentives, snap escalators, playoff bonuses, because in this room we don't just scream sign him, we build the path to make it work. My name's on this take. Bring him in, keep the pitch count honest, let the tape decide, and make January quarterbacks feel the walls closing a second sooner than they plan.